Okay, you guys, so like you just saw, I was in the store. I did just a little clips in the store for you guys. We are actually staying at my grandparents' house. So, sorry, I'm going to turn the ender on in case you can't hear me. So we are actually staying at my grandparents' house for 3 weeks. So I did have to go to the grocery store and get some things, or actually a lot of things. So it was kind of like a really big, this is going to be like a really bigger grocery haul than I usually do. I didn't get all of our meat because I don't really like to buy the meat like a few days before. Sometimes I like to buy it the day of that I'm going to cook it. So I'm just going to take you guys home with me and show you everything I got because I went a little crazy. I did buy a lot, but we needed it because we're going to be staying there for so long. So we're practically going to be living there for like a month. So we definitely needed some snacks for the kids and everything. If it was just like a weekend like we've done for them before, I would not have purchased all of this stuff. So like I said, let's go ahead and head home and I'll show you everything that we plan on having for the week and what I have bought for snacks. So the first thing I purchased were these cute little grow capsules. I used to do these when I was growing up, so I figured the kids would like them as well. And let me tell you, Layla was obsessed with them. I also grabbed us a pack of Pepsi, and then I also grabbed the baby her Lactaid fat-free milk. We've been through so many different kinds of milk, but I feel like this one actually works. Also some bananas. The girls love their bananas. And then for breakfast, we got some Sunny D. I always get the Tangy Original. Fruit punch and apple juicy juice for the kids. Also grabbed some Country Crock original butter that I like to use for all of my meals. And some Danimal squeezables. The girls absolutely love these. They come with the strawberry and cotton candy. Some Pringles, pizza, and sour and cream for some snacks. Some Honey Nut Cheerios. They were buy one get one free, so I took advantage of the sale. I also went ahead and grabbed some of these chocolate fudge little sticks. Oh my god, I ate these like crazy. They were so good, and they come with a bunch inside of the can. Some angel hair for our chicken parm, and then some goldfish veggie, carrot, and tomato for the baby, or even Layla. Layla likes these as well. Cheez-Its, these were requested once again by my husband. Some baked potato chips. I like the baked ones. They're 65% less fat, not as greasy. I also grabbed us some family-sized pretzels. The girls are obsessed with the pretzels. And, of course, some deli ham, some deli cheese, and some deli turkey, so that way we can make sandwiches or little roll-up wraps. Layla's obsessed with her little ham wraps right now. I also grabbed some Jimmy Dean regular sausage because we love to make bacon or sausage or a big breakfast in the morning. I've actually bought these little chicken nuggets Purdue for a couple times now, and the girls love them. I used to eat these Tyson grilled and ready chicken breast strips when I was in high school. I couldn't find them, but I recently found them. I thought they were the other ones, but they're actually the frozen ones. So these are really good if you're looking to put them like in a salad. And then I also grabbed some corn on the cob for one of our meals, some mushrooms for a random meal. We usually like to get steak, so that's probably going to be with the steak, as well as the onions. Girls have been asking me for apples, carrots for another meal, and then some mozzarella cheese, sharp cheddar, because sometimes we put these in our eggs in the morning, or even the girls just like to snack on them. Of course, I grabbed the girls some blackberries, some blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries because they are obsessed with fruit. They eat fruit all day long. They're not really a meat eater, so I like to get them a lot of fruit to replace that. And then I also grabbed some potatoes because we are a potato family. We love to make potatoes with like every single meal or every single dinner. So another Zephyrhills 24-pack case of water. And then I did go ahead and grab a few of our meats, but I didn't grab all of our meat because I didn't want it to go bad. So I grabbed some chicken wings for one of the dinners. I grabbed one of the chuck roast, boneless. This one is a little bit more expensive, so I don't do this all the time, but that is a very easy meal that I'm going to show you guys. And then just some canned veggies and some olives for the girls because they like eating some olives for a snack with like fruit or cheese. And then some oil. I also grabbed some whole milk. I also grabbed some barbecue sauce for ribs we're going to be doing, and also some chunky Parmesan and Romano ragu spaghetti sauce. I'm actually making chicken parm with this. I usually used a different kind, but they didn't have it, so I thought I would try this one, and honestly I like it even better. So I highly recommend this, putting a little salt in it and you're good to go. Then of course some eggs, because we like to make our eggs in the morning for the girls. It's super easy. A loaf of bread, and then I also grabbed myself some flat out carb down olive oil and sea salt because I am trying to watch my calories. But that is everything I purchased today, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Remember how he said they got into the little Cheetos? Look at their little face. Anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video of the grocery haul. And once again, sorry about the voiceover, but they had the TV going on in the background. Alright, you guys, so the meal that I'm going to be showing you today is one that has been in the family for a really long time. You're just going to need one of these like skillets. I don't know exactly what they're called, but this one is an oyster brand. I usually keep the heat between 300 and 350, or put it down a little bit depending on how well yours works or what kind of brand you get. So I'm using the chuck roast boneless that I got in my grocery haul, my country crock butter that I also got, some ears of corn. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make my cream corn, or my grandma's cream corn that she's been making since I was a little girl. Some onions. I'm going to show you how to chop everything up, potatoes, carrots, and of course some homemade coleslaw that has also been in our family. I'm going to show you guys everything, and yes, I do use the whole bag of carrots. I use 7 potatoes. This is for a family of 5, by the way, so you don't have to use all of it. I use about 3/4 of an onion, or you could use more depending on how much onion you like. But I'm going to start off by turning on the heat so that way this gets a little bit hot. I'm going to add some butter to the bottom of the pan. Wherever I add the butter, I am going to be placing the chuck roast on top of that. So once you have your chuck roast in the pan and on top of the butter, you can go ahead and put butter on top of the chuck roast that you have not put butter on already. Add your salt and pepper. I accidentally added the salt and pepper a little bit later, so it's perfectly fine. You can always add it, you know, when it's done cooking and you're getting ready to eat. So I'm just going to put some butter on the top, put this and let it cook, let it brown on one side. Once it browns on the other side, I am going to go ahead, leave it on that side, but I'm going to add some water to it. So the water, you're just going to put enough to cover the bottom of the pan, and also make sure that it is about halfway up of the thickness of the roast. So you don't want to cover it completely, but you still want to make sure that you have a good enough amount of water so that way your veggies and your roast does not burn. So here is the browning that I'm talking about. I want it to be brown just like this on both sides, and then I'm going to add my water to it. Once I add my water to it, I am going to let it cook for probably about 45 minutes. So that's overall total with the 10 minutes on each side. So after you've already browned and cooked it in the water for about 45 minutes, this is when I'm going to start working on the carrots and the veggies, potatoes and onions, because I want to make sure that they're ready to go when it's time. So I'm going to show you guys how I cut them and how I place them in the pan with the roast. The onions are going to go on top of the roast, and then the potatoes and carrots are going to go around in the water. So this is a really yummy meal. We've been having it for years and years, as long as I can remember in the family, and I always request the roast whenever my grandma asks for a meal that I'm like wanting. So I highly recommend you guys make this meal because it is so delicious, and I always want to make it. Editing this video really makes me want to go and grab it from the store and make it from scratch again, because it honestly, I love all the flavors together. Everything is just delicious, and I really know that you guys will enjoy this recipe. This is how I cut the carrots. Obviously I peeled them already, and I cut them into like little rectangular shapes. This is how my grandma cuts them, so I just stuck with the shape of them. I don't really think the shape would really matter, just as long as all your carrots are about the same size, because you don't want some cooking more than the others. One will be hard, one will be mushy. So just make sure that your carrot sizes and your potato sizes are all equivalent with each other, because that actually can, you know, mess your meal up. And then I'm just going to go and cut the potatoes into really big chunks. Because this meal is going to be cooking for a while, I don't want the potatoes to cook like too fast. The carrots actually take a while to cook too, so I feel like it really goes together, it really works. So the potatoes, the carrots, the onions are all going to go into the pan once I am done cutting them. The onions are also going to get cut into big chunks. Those are going to be placed on top of the roast. Don't be too anal about your cutting, you guys, because it doesn't have to be perfect, as long as the sizes are about the same, so that way it cooks evenly. And also, while you are cutting all these up, just make sure that you keep focusing on your water. I did not have to add any water when I cooked this meal, so sometimes you don't, sometimes you do, I don't know why. but sometimes the water will just evaporate really quickly. Just make sure that you pop in there every once in a while to check on your water. So now that we are at this part in the video, all you want to do is I add the potatoes first because they're bigger. So I put the potatoes on the bottom in the water. Then I'm going to go around and put the carrots on top and, you know, around in the water with the potatoes. And then I'm just going to take the onions and put them on top of the roast. This gives the roast a little bit flavor as well. And of course, you can put whatever seasonings you want in it. This meal is kind of bland, but when I mean like it's all yummy all together, I add salt and pepper at the end. I always add salt and pepper to my meals, so I didn't use a lot when I was cooking it, so you might want to either add more flavoring to it or, you know, spice it up, make it your own. Just kind of go off of what I'm doing here, but you could always just, you know, doctor it up however you like it. But this is how it should look when you have everything put in there. We're gonna put the top on it, let that cook for a really long time, probably about another hour and a half, and then we're just gonna go ahead and work on our corn. I didn't immediately go into cooking the corn once I already did all of this. I just wanted it prepped and ready to go whenever I was ready for that time. So the first thing we're going to do into prepping our creamed corn is we're going to take the corn out of the silk, and then we're going to go ahead and take all these little strings off. Make sure you get it as clean as you can. You don't want that in your creamed corn. And then you're going to go and grab a bowl, a knife, obviously your ears of corn, and then we're gonna shuck the corn. This is how I shuck it. I just stick it in the bowl, take the knife, and take the corn kernels off of it. So just be very careful when you're doing this. Obviously the bowl can slip just like that, or you know, you're using a knife, you can always cut your finger. And then I am going to take the knife and try and scrape like all the excess off, so that way I get like, you know, the fluids and, you know, the rest of whatever I missed. So this is exactly how my grandma makes it, and I have grown up watching her cook, so this is how I am making it, and honestly it tastes exactly the same as she does. So I'm really happy that I'm able to master this. Not a lot of corn, it doesn't look like, but it was enough for our family, and my husband doesn't really eat it that much, neither do the girls, so it's really just for like me and Liam. But you're gonna want some flour, some milk, a sifter, water, your corn, and butter. First thing you're gonna do is add your corn into the pan, and then you're going to add your water, so that way it covers the corn enough but it doesn't drown it completely. And this is another thing that you want to keep your eye on with the water. You don't want your corn to burn. That is a big no-no. So we're going to put our water in, and here I am checking to make sure that the water is good, making sure that everything is cooking at a great time, and that I'm starting the corn at a good time, because you know you don't want your roast to be done 20 minutes before your corn. So the first thing I'm going to do after that has come to a little simmer is add some butter. This meal is not healthy, you guys, so I'm sorry if you thought this was going to be a healthy meal, but it's definitely not in this household. So I added some butter. I'm just going to mix it around, let that melt in there. We're going to let it cook for a minute. Once we've let it cook for a minute and it starts to simmer a little bit, I am going to start to add the milk and the flour. I'm going to start with the milk first and put a little bit in there. Once again, you don't want to drown your corn. You just want to put a little bit. You can add a little bit more later on. And then you're also going to want like a sifter that you use for your flour, because you don't want it to be like clumps in your corn, and you don't want to get like bites of flour. That would be kind of gross. So I was using the spatula, and then I moved over to the whisk because it just mixed it up a lot easier. So definitely go ahead and use your whisk when you're using this. And then I am going to add a little bit more milk, because if you haven't made cream corn before, when cream corn sits for a little bit, it tends to get a little bit thicker over time. So I added a little bit more milk, so while I'm prepping the other stuff and getting all the other food ready, it's not overdoing itself, and it can cook a little bit longer. So this is a very easy recipe once you get the hang of it, and honestly the whole meal that I'm making is very easy once you get the hang of it. It's just kind of a lot of prep work, but everything else I feel like is just super easy. But that just could be because I make it all the time, or I make it very frequently. So next I'm going to go ahead and take all of my veggies out of the skillet. I'm going to put our onions and our meat together, and then I'm going to put our potatoes in one bowl, put some butter on top. Then I'm going to put the carrots in another bowl, put butter on that. And once again, like I said, this is not a healthy meal, so this is kind of just like a hearty southern good old home cooked meal that I love to turn to when I'm really craving a home cooked meal. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, because it's super yummy. I also wanted to tell you guys that when I stepped away from the corn to let it cook for a little bit, I turned it down to low before I actually, came over here to prep the other food. So make sure that you turn that on low because you don't want to overdo your corn. And then I am just taking everything out like I said, and I'm going to put them in separate bowls. The next thing I'm going to show you guys what I make is our homemade coleslaw. Super easy, very little ingredients, so I highly recommend sticking around to seeing that because like I said, this whole meal has been around since I was a little girl, so I'm really going through it with the whole step-by-step, giving you guys the whole workup. So I am excited to give you guys this meal because it is one of my favorites and I really think you guys would enjoy it. So just stick around, I'm going to show you guys how to make some coleslaw. So you guys, the only thing that you need here is a cheese grater, some real mayonnaise or whatever mayonnaise you like to use, some cabbage, and a bowl and a spoon or a fork, whichever one you want to use. And then I'm just picking whatever side I want to grate my cabbage on and grating away. And then I'm just going to add some mayonnaise. Make sure you start with a little bit because you can always go in and add more. You don't want to overdo it because then it's just like really greasy and it's honestly really gross if you put too much in it. When I first started making it myself, I definitely did that, but this is the consistency you want, and here is the after. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please give it a like down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.